Okay, hello, good evening. Well, this is a holiday treat. This is the most people I think we've ever had in this place for a school committee meeting. Lots to celebrate tonight, so we're excited to get started. So the first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. The next item on the agenda is approval of agenda. I need a motion to approve. Motion by Mrs. Rogalski. Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. For the record, Mrs. Feather is not here tonight. The next item on the agenda is the student government report, student government activities. I know the student government was busy wrapping presents and things, but you... Oh, come right up to the microphone.
For student government at Cumberland High School, the month of November was highlighted by our Turkey Drive charity. We collected food in each of our classes at school and filled our box truck and brought in our final donations at Ciabra's the weekend before Thanksgiving. That Monday, we took the first 2 periods out of school to bring all the food to the senior center at the Cumberland Monastery, where we were very grateful to have the assistance of John Johnson of Happy Baskets, assisting us in organizing and sorting all the goods that were collected so that they could be packaged and sent to the Cumberland families in need. As for December, the charity did not stop. As soon as the turkey drive was done, we immediately switched over to Adopt a Family and began to collect Christmas gifts for many Cumberland children. Today, in fact, we closed off student government for 2023 with our annual Christmas party and scavenger hunt. It ended with us wrapping the collected gifts and sent them on their way to be sorted and distributed for the holidays. We wrapped over 140 gifts. Thank you and Merry Christmas. Have a happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, but there are a few items that we cannot vote on tonight. So I need a motion to amend the consent agenda to remove items A2, A3, and B1 and B2. Mrs. Rogalski makes a motion to amend the consent agenda. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. So now the next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Item A, approval of minutes from the regular meeting 11/9/2023. Item C, the enrollment report 12/1/2023. Item D, the school transportation report 12/1/2023. Item E, the school bus inspection reports 12/1/2023. Item F, residency truancy report 12/1/2023. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Mrs. Rogalski, second by Mrs. Vogel. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. We wish we could get right to all the good stuff, but we have to get through some of this business first. So the next item on the agenda is the personnel announcements. Mrs. Drezek.
Thank you. Tonight we have 6 appointments. We have an internal promotion effective 12/4/2023, Allison Sutherland, to the position of Special Education Coordinator. Effective 11/20/2023, we have Christina Jepson, an IT District Support Technician. Effective 12/4/2023, we have Elena Greffin, Special Education Teacher at Garvin, 1 year only, and Triana Sanderson, a Grade 3 teacher at Garvin, 1 year only. Effective 11/27/2023, Maureen Lepre, a paraprofessional at North Cumberland Middle School. And effective 1/2/2024, Ashley Norman, a paraprofessional at Garvin. We have 3 resignations. Effective 11/23/23, Jake Lauren Fitzgerald, paraprofessional at North Cumberland Middle School. Effective 11/19/2023, Gabriela Mendez, world language teacher, Spanish at CHS. And effective 1/1/2024, Kelsey Serrault, grade 5 teacher at Ashton. We have a retirement after 33 years of service, effective 12/29/2023. Dave Ordat, he's our maintenance and carpenter. And we have a leave of absence for the 2024-2025 school year. Catherine Amendola, Spanish teacher at Cumberland High School.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Dresnick. Next item on the agenda is the report out of executive session meeting on 12/14/2023. Item 1, report out of executive session votes. We did not take any votes in tonight's session. The next item is the vote to seal the minutes of the executive session. I need a motion to seal the minutes. Motion by Mr. Rogalski. Second by Mrs. Vogel. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Okay, now on to the good stuff.
Madam Chair, good evening. It's my pleasure to start things off for the holidays with introducing the Clef Singers with Amanda Santo to come forward and sing a few songs for us, if we could do that. Have them come right up, and we'll have you on camera so we can watch it at home. Take it away.
Brown paper packages. tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apples strudel. Doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel and noodle. Wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
I really can't
Baby, it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside. The moment that you drop in, I'll hold your hands there just like ice. Beautiful, what's your hurry? Listen to the fireplace roar. Beautiful, what's your hurry? Put some records on while I pour. Baby, it's bad out there. No cars to be had out there. Eyes are like starlight now. I'll hold your hat, your hair looks swell. Mind if I move in closer? What's the sense of hurting my pride? Baby, don't hold out, but it's cold outside. Look out the window at that store. Never such a place to be for. But baby, you'll freeze out there. It's up to your knees out there. Don't let me touch my hand. How can you do this thing to me? Think of my lifelong sorrow. If you're gone pneumonia and die, baby, it's cold. Oh, but it's cold outside. Do. Baby, it's cold outside.
Thank you all. Now, next up, we have a special guest. We have a new member of the Cumberland Police Force along with his team today. His team consists of Brian Bob, we have Chief Benson, and we have Officer Dave Ring. So if we could introduce and welcome our newest member of the Cumberland PD, Clipper.
Good evening. My name is Officer David Ring with the Cumberland Police Department. This is my new partner, Clipper. Clipper has been a part of my family since this past Sunday, but he's been part of this community far earlier than that. With me here tonight is Brian Babb, the owner of HCC Canine, a local business here in Cumberland that trains canines. Mr. Babb had a vision many months ago to bring this program to the Cumberland Police Department, pairing a canine with an officer to help impact the community in a positive way. This program exists in many other police departments and school districts within the state of Rhode Island, and I'm happy to say now it does here. Mr. Babb put in countless hours into this program to make it happen. First, he had to find and accept a dog, locate a local vet who would donate their services, which is Dr. Weed, Cumberland Animal Hospital. Run for Pet Express on Minden Row was generous enough to donate 1 bag of food per month. Mr. Babb has thought of and attained any reoccurring costs that may come with dog ownership, and all procuring local businesses who have been willing to donate their time and resources. I personally have been all over New England for training and continuing education, met many compassion canine handlers and their animals, each one with a better story than the next, whether it be through community outreach, helping children cope with loss of loved ones or trauma, or just a friendly face who will never judge you, help you get through some of the hardest years of your life. So in my 3rd year as a school resource officer, I couldn't be more honored to stand in front of you today with Clipper. I'm sure some of you may have questions. I'm going to defer to Mr. Babb here. He's the expert, and he's a better expert than I am. So he's been training me all week. I just want to say thank you for your time and welcome aboard to Clipper.
We may have some questions, Mr. Fiorella, do you have?
Hello. First of all, I love Clipper. What will Clipper's role be in the schools? How often, boy or girl? Boy. How often will he be in the schools? Just looking at the more of the, nuts and bolts of it.
So the easy answer is he does go as far away from me as I am. So wherever I am, he is. So I'm in the schools every single day. Typically, the majority of my time is spent at sport and Cumberland, but obviously with this, I'm able to be in every school as So again, my role may change a little bit, but I love what I do. I have a great relationship, I believe, with a lot of the students that are here. And he, not to diminish him or make him less than, but he's a useful tool, I believe, to help with a certain population of students who may have experienced it. Because again, he's 5 months old and this is what he does. So
is he fully trained to do this work, or is there still more training to be done for him?
we are in training right now, but he will be able to expound more on the type of training that we will be getting.
It's a great question, ma'am. So far, we have had Clipper since he was 8 weeks old. He's been through some, I would say, pretty rigorous training since then, living with us day in, day out, night, day. Everywhere I went, he went. So until he went to Officer Ring last weekend, I also have 3 other dogs. So it's a lot of work, but we had this goal in mind for him. So whether he was with me until he was with Officer Ring, the continuity of training is going to be right there. He has a long way to go, I'm not going to lie, but where he's going to go is going to bring something to each and every one of you. Our goal is to get him therapy certified, and therapy certified is going to take about 24 months. That's like saying a child can drive a car. They're not there yet, mental capacity. So we're going to take it baby steps. We're going to get him certified in AKC Star Puppy, which I am certified to award. We're going to do AKC Canine Good Citizen. We're going to do comfort, work with him, get him certified in the comfort level work, and then build up to therapy work. Baby steps, just like anything else, right? You start off in kindergarten, you work your way up through college level accreditation. And that's exactly what Clipper is going to do. But he has to get used to going up and down stairs. He has to get used to being in loud environments. He has to get used to greeting people. You guys greeting him, right? Even just coming in here, it's huge for him, and it's huge for you guys, learning how to meet and greet a dog. It's not just, this is a piece of equipment for the officer. It's not just to walk up and touch a dog. It's ask, please ask, approach nicely, don't pet on the head, pet on the side, stuff like that. And Officer Ring has to advocate for him, just like he would for any other piece of equipment that he works with every day.
Mrs. Rogalski, and then Mr. Fiorella.
Last year on health and wellness, we actually discussed, potentially for the high school during exam times, looking into seeing if we could get dogs in to help students kind of focus. And so I'm wondering, down the road, I mean, ideally, would you like to have more than one? Or like just in a dream world?
I'm a firm believer in the power of an animal, especially a canine in police work. I would like to build out our program much larger than it is, but to kind of mirror what Brian had said, baby steps in the dog's life, but also in our program steps. So we're going to learn administratively how to manage the dog, but I could see us advocating to add some more down the road. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mr. Fiorella?
Will there be any kind of information provided to students ahead of time, just how to approach, so that the students don't do what I did when I first saw her, just ran right up and started petting them?
So, myself and Mr. Babbitt are coming up with a criteria that will be sent out to, every principal in the district. They can disseminate how they see fit, starting with the staff and then to the students. I had one assistant principal approach me, why don't we do a video, and we can play the video. There are many different ways you can do it, but the criteria and boundaries need to be set before he goes into the school with me full-time, obviously, just so we know where everybody stands with this, and there isn't an accident or there's, any issues going forward, that the expectations are there. And Ms. Storm, who's in attendance tonight, has already started that at McCourt, and her idea is, is top-notch. So I'll probably take information from here, information from her, and come up with the best way I see fit to implement the dog into the school.
No one's going to be forced to say hi to him. It's going to be an as-needed basis, right? I mean, if there are children struggling with anxiety through testing, he's there. If there's going to be, a stressful situation in a school, whether it be a lockdown drill, he's there. Fire drill, kids who have anxiety through that, he's there. So there's many different situations in schools where he will be utilized, and I think he's going to be a rock star, as you guys can see. He was picked through many different dogs, and we put him through some testing, and this is what we got. So he's the best. He's the best, and I think he's going to do wonders for you guys. And I'm glad the chief was on board, and Officer Ring, and in the school department. So we're excited.
And
you guys are as well.
yeah, and Officer Ring, this is a full-time job for you. I mean, 24/7, right? You're taking care of him. So we appreciate you putting in that commitment to that.
It was my pleasure. And the chief attested this. His first month in, he came down, he sat down, and he was, what would you like? Let's get some patches on. And then, it happened, and again, it's great. So
Yeah.
I've been wanting this for a long time. Ever since I came to the schools, and here we are. So I can't make the ground running and make it effective.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of the whole school committee that we would love for Clipper to come back as he's progressing, and for you to tell us how it's going, and we could all use a little compassion at some of these meetings, so that would be great. Maybe during budget time.
I was going to say, I heard during budget time, he's always welcome. Mr. Kinch said that?
I believe the council president has requested the same, so.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
All right, moving right along, we have some recognitions. First, if I call up Principal Carter for our first recognition. I think we should also call up Bella Martins while we're talking about her too, so come on right up here. Have her stand front and center.
Good evening, everyone. I told you I'd be back, and here I am. So I am really, it's a bittersweet night for me because Bella has been with me since day one at Garvin. And she told us last year that she would see us through until we came back to our building, and she is retiring after an amazing career here with the Cumberland School Department. I know that whenever we talk about someone retiring, we always say that they go above and beyond in their job. But I think that phrase, it doesn't say enough for what Bella does for our school. There have been multiple principals who have told me They want to steal her because she is so incredible. And every person who walks into our building recognizes the work that she does and the care that she puts into our building. And it's not just the care for the school, it's the care for our staff and the care for the students. I especially appreciate, and I know that I'm going to miss, Bella's morning routine of coming to visit me at arrival. I know it's not for me. She's here to say hi to her grandkids. But that brief conversation in the morning, just checking in and seeing how she's doing and how I'm doing, has really helped me start my day and get me going. And I don't know what I'm going to do without her. But Bella has promised us she's not going anywhere. She is going to help us maintain our flower beds outside, and she's going to be checking in with us frequently. So I'm excited for her. I know this is a well-deserved retirement, and I hope that she enjoys every second of it. And I am hopeful that she remains healthy and gets to enjoy some time with her family. So congratulations.
And also, Bella, we have to give you this highly coveted Cumberland beach bag. Laura, a picture if you could. Thank you. And Mike, one more slide. We have one more retiree, but unfortunately he couldn't make it tonight, but I want to recognize Dave Audette for 33 years of service, so congrats to him. And then Cumberland has its fourth winner of the Golden Ticket. We have Caitlin St. Laurent, $5,000 grant for the preschool, and her $500 donation is going to the Alzheimer's Foundation in Rhode Island. So congrats to Caitlin. And now if I can call up Amanda Santo, our music, there she is, leader. We have some exciting news in the music and chorus world.
Thank you. We are proud to share that we have 5 students from the high school choral program who were selected to represent Cumberland High School in the 24 ACDA All Eastern Division Honor Chorus. The students selected for this participation are Molly Ennisfet, Alex Hornig, Katie Lambden, Malia Peichel, and Blake Frogendewey. Some of them are over here now. I don't know if I can call them up. And Cumberland is thrilled to have over 30 students who were selected for All-State Chorus, Band, and Orchestra this year. I know I speak also for Mr. Froci, for Ms. Davis, and Mr. Alger that we are incredibly proud of our music students and our program here in Cumberland. For our junior all-state instrumental for both the high school and the middle schools, we have Dylan Balsunas, Shane Carney, Haley McClure, Gayatri Rajesh, and Zazie Seal. And as I call your names for my instrumental and vocal friends, come on up and join us. For our senior all-state instrumental, we have Jameson Emery, Nathaniel Gomes, Desmond Roper, Vladimir Seal, Lucas Tessier, and Harold Bemmer. And for our junior all-state chorus friends, we have Luke Herlin, Marley Holt, Jemmy Jules, Emilio Merksimer, Audra Murphy, Zazie Sale, Sumeda Yala, Braden Zagroski. And for our senior all-state chorus students, we have Eleanor Baker, Chase Benjamin, Zachary Coppins, Molly Ennisvet, Caden Hawkins, Alex Hornig, Avi Kashari, Katie Lambden, Abby Landy, Miles McLaughlin, Malia Peichel, Aiden Reel, and Callista Sylvester. Did I miss anyone? I hope I didn't. We're so incredibly proud of our students and are grateful for you having us here to honor them tonight. Thank you. Get in there. Slide over more. Slide over more.
And next, we turn to the sports world. Our AD, Martin Crowley, is here for some exciting sports news from this fall. Mr. Crowley.
Thank you, Dr. Thornton. Before I get into what an unprecedented athletic season it was for both at McCourt, North Cumberland, and Cumberland High School, I'd just like to thank our parents. Our parents who are here tonight, and our parents who are not here tonight, for continuing to be positive role models in the lives of our students and our student athletes. It goes a long way. The success at home leads to success in the classroom and success on the athletic field, so we're very grateful for the parents. Also, athletics is a community thing. When I was at the McCourt State Championship game down at Portsmouth High School, it was like a scene out of Hoosiers where the town emptied out and everybody came and the bleachers were full. I had a good conversation with Mayor Mutter, who was there also, so it's a good thing that athletics is a community-driven activity. As I just mentioned, our boys soccer at McCourt had a phenomenal season under first-year coach J.J. Tavares, our Cumberland High School alumni. They lost in the title game to Cole Junior High School. At North Cumberland Middle School, under Coach Hooper, the girls in cross-country were the Northern Division champions, and the boys were the Northern Division runner-up. We have 5 coaches of the year at Cumberland High School. Coach Kerry Carpenter, boys cross-country. Coach Delaney Kavanaugh, field hockey. Martin Crowley, girls cross-country. Coach John Hoxie, girls soccer. And Coach Larry Lopes in boys soccer. We're all named coaches of the year by their respective associations. And when I say unprecedented, I can't recall in any tenure of watching high school athletics of the run that our varsity programs had this year at the high school. The boys soccer had its highest win total since 2005, lost in a 2-1 game to LaSalle Academy up at Rhode Island College in a semifinal game. Our field hockey team lost a double overtime 7 shootout game at Cranston Stadium in a phenomenal game. They lost in the semis. Unified volleyball lost in the finals to Cranston West, another great season by Coach Lemieux in our unified program. Football lost in the state championship game to Barrington. Girls volleyball lost in the state championship game to East Providence. And boys cross country finished 1 point behind Hendricken in an amazing performance by that squad at the state meet. Like, Hendricken is like Alabama, and everybody's chasing Hendricken. And for our boys to finish 1 point behind them, it was an amazing run by our guys, and a great job by Coach Carpenter coaching up the boys. Whoops. Okay, now to our champions. It took more than one day, but our middle school champion repeated. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention her running partner. Get it? Cross-country running partner? Thank you. Her training partner who finished second, Natalie Crawford. Natalie's not here tonight, but I would just like to mention Natalie. Natalie was the runner-up for middle school for girls and had a phenomenal season for McCourt. But our champion is a 2-time champion. We won it as a 7th grader and won it as an 8th grader. Cece Ludwig, come on up here, Cece. Coaches, family, you can come up with her if you want. Come on up. Coaches, family, anybody, come on up. Come on up here, Cece. You want me to ask you a few questions? Sure. So how did it feel to repeat?
Good.
Excellent. You can come back. You're nice and short. I know you had to go back and run the race a second time, but you did exactly what you did. Talk about the conditions the second day as opposed to the first day.
It was much hotter outside, and yeah.
Great job, Cece. Words of wisdom. Does your mom want to get in the picture? Congratulations, Cece. Thank you. All right. The soccer picture is up. We'll go to them next. They were 17-0-2 this year. The only two ties came against the team that they faced in the state title game in Mount Hope. And this was a very talented and relentless group. I haven't watched them play. They were relentless from start to finish. They battled injuries a lot of the year where different people shuffling in and out. They did beat Mount Hope 3-1. Inez Oliveira, Ava Normandin, and Peyton Amar scored goals in the championship game. Ava and Nicole Calley had assists in the championship game. And for the first time in 20 years, they are state champions. They have won titles in Division II, but this is their first Division I state title. As I said, they finished 17-0-2, and the last time a team went undefeated, Barrington in 1992. So it's a great accomplishment for our Cumberland High School ladies soccer program. Come on up, ladies. Let's go. Among this group, all staters, Ava Normandin, Nicole Calley. Nicole Calley is also an All-American. Right, Nicole? Thank you. Oh, wait. Yeah, somebody hold this. Here you go. Yeah, hold that. I'm sorry, yeah, you hold it. Oh, I can get in there too. Well, let me move this out of the way. Pictures are welcome. Congratulations. This group was a very talented class, led by underclassmen and seniors, so continued success. Our next person, let's talk about our individual boys. Whoops, nope, let's not. So another talented group, which I had the pleasure of coaching this season. Finished second at the class meet, had a great year, won the division title again, has a 100 and some odd dual meet winning streak still going, longest in the state. Didn't run particularly well at the class meet, but for us it's about championship season, running well on the state meet. And they shine brightest on the brighter day. Led by all state performances by Kylie DeFusco, Charlie McHugh, and Rose Tomisto. Anna Bianchi, Gabby Studoff, Anya Califoot, and Emily Burke. The Cumberland High Girls Cross Country team brought home the first state title in 42 years, going back to 1981. So it was a very, very good thing by them. Come on up, girls. You want to hold this? You already spoke? You already good? Let me go in the back. Oh, thank you. All right, one more. Last and certainly not least. Oh, this Cece. Were your pictures up there now, Cece? We put it up there with Sam. Sorry. I tried to get good pictures of you. I apologize. So on the boys' side, our boys program, just like our girls program, has a long lineage of success in state champions. And at the state meet, having run brilliantly in the class meet and high expectations, being in 7th or 8th place at the 1 mile mark was not a problem for our state champion. He ran his pace, he ran his time, he did his work in the woods. There's a stretch from the 2K mark coming out of the woods of Ponegant. If you've ever been back there, where it's straight uphill, and from the 2 mile mark on, by the time he cleared that, he was in first place, and he won by a whopping 14 seconds, becoming our 5th ever male state champion, the first one since 2012 when Trevor Crawley did it. With the time of 15:33, your state champion in boys cross country, a junior, Sam Henderson. Come on up, Sam. Sam, I know you have family. Your mom and dad are here. They can come up with you. Your mom and dad can come up with you. You can come and get in the picture with them. Also, I forgot to mention that Sam was also all New England. He finished 7th in the New England Championship. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to get into some of our, back to our boring business of the school committee. So if anybody would like to leave now, that's totally fine. We won't be offended. Congratulations, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. Did the mayor leave?
I think it's, what is that? It's
All right, Madam Chair, let's pick it back up. We have school construction updates. Our topic first, just to highlight, if you missed it, we had a ribbon cutting over at Garvin a few weeks back. It was a great event. And you can see here we have in the cafeteria, Mayor Mutter speaking. We had folks from the State House, Senator Pearson, folks from RIDE. So it was a nice event, well attended. And here we are with the Principal Carter, cutting the ribbon. And you can see here, that's the cap, what it looks like right now, fully renovated. That's one of our common areas as it looks now with all the furniture in place. And a big shout out to the sign folks. Finally got our sign in at Garvin. Our new Garvin Memorial sign is up. And also a big shout out to the town. The town, with the help of a federal grant, has many, many trees to plant. So Garvin is getting many trees. The first wave of trees now, second wave of trees in the springtime. So here are some views of the trees by the roadside. Here's some trees by the back property, by the fence line area. Some more trees over by the ball field that were put in last week. And some more trees by the water retention ponds. A lot of trees and more trees to come. And also a big thank you to the town. They also helped fill in a spot where our kids go from the Garvin school to the playground. There's a big divot and it's very muddy. The town came out and put some fill in for us and also a little drainage piece across the middle. So that's a nice first step for us. We may tar that down the road, but just for now, it's a great first step. So we really appreciate the help of the town once again. On to Garvin. Now we finish Ashton. The rock rolls back down the hill, and we're in demo mode at Ashton. Sorry, at Ashton. That's the Principal Carbonics office. It now has a back door opening into a conference space. That's what it looks like right now. That's our office. Next slide. The rough plumbing is in. We're back to that now, just the plumbing going in the old bathrooms. That's the conference space as it'll look. Next. The ductwork is coming in over at the building. That's where we are at that point in time. Next slide. And once again, rough plumbing. This bathroom had to be completely demoed, and a lot of work here because just how bad it was. So it's all going to be modern, and that's all the rough plumbing right there. And that's one of the common areas at Ashton. They get 3 common areas over at Ashton. Next slide. And that's another area in the works. Next slide. Outside, our water retention area has a fence around it. That's what it looks like out in the front of Garvin with the front circle. And that's really the update as far as construction goes. Like I said, we're, Garvin finishing up. Ashton, we're in mid demo and rough plumbing and electrical, and also planning for community. That's also kind of on tap as far as planning what's going to happen there. So it's all kind of happening at the same time. So that brings us to our last topic, Madam Chair. I know we talked about it a few meetings back, I'm going to come out and tell you what our first thinking is as far as the boundaries. Just a few thoughts before I share some thinking with you. First, if you go back to when the first bond was passed around 2018, that really set in motion what's happening tonight as far as talking about boundary changing. And the driving force behind this really is community going from a 5-track school to a 4-track school. And if you don't recall, as you saw at Garvin, a lot of the protocols around construction today call for large open space areas as part of the design for schools. That's why community goes from a 5-track to a 4-track school. They get 4 common areas in that location. I would say also a community being around 675 kids, that's really a large number for an elementary school. So going down to the mid to high 5s is really probably more optimal, I would say. I think also adding to this whole equation is enrollment. Enrollment's going up quite a bit in Cumberland, and I don't think in 2018 people thought about the numbers we're seeing right now. To give you a sense, in 2019 we had 2,023 kids K to 5. Right now, this month, we're at 2215, or 192 more students. And that's not even counting what we'll get from now until next August. So we are climbing quite a bit. So having said that, I want to take you through the model. This is a worksheet we use, and I'll take you through it, and it kind of helps us think about how we plan for our students K to 5 in all the schools. You can see over here we have the schools, we have the grades above and the class capacities per contract. You see 23, 23, 25 in the older grades. And you can see over here, we're assuming in kindergarten we're going to get the capacity in all 3 sections. So we're seeing 23. We're assuming the best case, or worst case, having 23 in every room down the line. You can see here at Ashton, for our notes, we have, if we have to, we have 3 rooms we could use at Ashton to fully kind of accommodate all of our kids. In our current model, which we'll show you in a second, we're going to use a couple of those rooms. So you can see here we have 4 grade 1s and 4 grade 2s. That's simply because you have to do that given where the students are coming from right now. So that's our model right now. You can see 3 Ks, 4 1s, 4 2s, and you can see 3 of each of these. I would tell you, these numbers won't be the numbers you see in August. These are modeled numbers. They'll change. Obviously, we want to get that number down. That's a little high, 27, 26, 26. So they're numbers right now that we model, and we keep modeling it over the course of the year. So in the end, at Ashton, if you go across, right now, next year, we're modeling 423 students in the newly renovated Ashton. The capacity is mid to high 430s, so say the architects. So you can see right now, they'll be gaining around 92 students, what they have right now, because Ashton right now is a 2-track school in many cases. At BF Norton, we have 2 rooms that we're going to utilize next year because of the numbers coming in. You can see once again, the kindergarten, we have 23s. In grade 1, we're modeling 4 grade 1s, 21, 20, 20, right? You can see if we went 3 sections in that grade, the math wouldn't work, so that's why you have the 4th section. You can see in grade 2 through grade 5, those numbers. And once again, we're around 404 for total. I should also mention in this model, we're adding 4 teachers at Ashton, which they're right now. In this model, we're adding 2 teachers at BF, so you give a sense of that. Over at community's here next year in the trans for that 1 year. And to make it work, we are going to use and renovate 2 rooms in the 2nd floor of the trans called the girls and boys locker room. They're huge spaces, and they're easily renovated. So that's in the works right now. And when that's done, that's great space for the high school also. So that's going to be done. Having said that, at Community, a 4-track school, we're at 423s over here in K. You can see the numbers, 22, 21, 22, 21, et cetera. I should mention this model, if we do this model, we can grandfather the 28 kids that are currently living in a location where if we did the new map, they wouldn't go to that school. So if you do this, vote this model in at some future meeting, we can grandfather 8 kids at Ashton and 20 kids at Community. So I think that's one of the things we're looking at trying to do, to trying to let kids stay for their 5th grade year. So I would just mention that. In this model next year, you'd have 5 less teachers at Community, and you'd be at 549 approximately. Cumberland Hill, we have one extra room available. Right now, it's in our pocket. We're not using it. It's available. Because as you know, enrollment comes in sometimes, and we have to kind of allow for some growth. So that's in our pocket right now. You can see here the numbers, 23s, 24s, over here, 25s. And you can see here, they have 10 less students in the model, and around 419 total. And last but not least, Garvin, we have one extra room to use. We'll be opening a grade 3 in the current model. And you can see here, we're thinking at capacity right now in grades 1 and grade 2. And you can see across here 20s and 21s. And they'll be at 420 next year. And that's our total. I should tell you this, our total here is 2215, but tonight in your packet you have enrollment from Tony's office. We've gained 10 more students. We're at 2225 now. So that just happened. So that's one you know. That's why it's always kind of a moving target how this goes. So that's our worksheet. And from that, I now want to show you and talk about some of the maps, which you guys want to see and talk about. So let's go to the first map, Mike. This map is from 2 years ago when we moved some students from community to Cumberland Hill. Remember a couple years ago around the Navigant Bank area, we moved around 36 students, and that was that gray area. So you can see now, this is community in the red. You can see Cumberland Hill, green. You can see Ashton, Garvin in blue, BF over here in purple. So that's what happened 2 years ago. Right now, what we're looking to do is take some students out of community to allow them to be a 4-track school. And to do that, you have to look at bus routes and where the students live. We have a software program that shows where the students are located and what grade they are. The trick is to find the right balance of streets and bus routes to make it all work. So that's what we did. So the next slide, Mike. So it's a little light, but these are the two areas, thank you, kind of in red and kind of orange that we're looking at relocating next year. And we'll talk about that in a minute in more detail. But essentially, in this area in kind of the red, this is Windsong. We have Pond, Little Pond. And over here, Mike, we have Broadview. Thank you. That hypothetically right now would be taken and pushed down to Ashton. So that's the current thinking right there. And this one, Lippert Estates right now, that would go to Garvin. So we'd actually be crossing 295, and Lippert would go to Garvin in this model. So next slide, Mike. We can publish these pictures tomorrow on our website to give folks a sense of it. It's pretty detailed as far as the streets, but I'll tell you, we won't give you street addresses and numbers until you finalize the plan. Then we'd go to the bus company and actually give you street addresses and street numbers. But until that time, we just want to show folks what we're looking at. You can see the roads here in detail. You can see Day Road, Scott Road, Pine, Bork, right? It kind of details out what's in our model right now. And next slide, Mike. And this would be Lippert Estates. It's basically, in this model, all of Lippert Estates would go to Garvin in this model. And we can certainly entertain different ideas. The trick is, if you have something to give, you have to get something back to balance it. And it's a question of where the students reside. If memory serves, Lippert Estates might be 38 students, give or take. So that's the number we have right now to balance out Garvin. And I know in the first red one I showed you, that's about 94 students in that whole Windsong Pond, Little Pond run. So the trick is to make it all balance. So that's our thinking right now. And I'm happy to answer questions. Like I said, we're not going to vote tonight. We want to bring this up at every future meeting until you're comfortable and ask questions between meetings, at meetings, right? And plan on the best model for next year. So happy to answer any questions right now you may have.
Wadowski?
I just want to clarify, you're saying Windsong, Little Pond, Pound Road, and Broadview? Pound. Little Pond. Little Pond.
Little Pond. It's confusing.
And is it in the entirety of those streets? In theory, right now, this working map that you're working with?
Well, right now, it really depends what streets. Obviously, Scott Road's not the whole street, but the number cutoff is Scott, right?
Okay.
We'll give you those cutoffs once you guys finalize on the map concept.
Okay.
Some roads are the entirety, some roads are.
Okay, and in terms of that, with the street numbers and addresses and not knowing that, I mean, if you have this neighbor is going to this school and this neighbor is going to this school, do we have an idea of when people would know that? I mean, I just, in terms of, it's already
Sure.
December, and we're looking at, for next summer.
If the committee hypothetically spent a few meetings on this, say you voted in late January, February, we would then produce those streets for the next meeting. We'd have them for you.
Can these maps be put in our drive?
They'll be in your drive and on the website tomorrow.
Okay.
And I would say, if folks want to know more about maybe their address and where they may fall, they can call us at 2 numbers to get a sense of it. They don't have to wait. We can kind of tell them the current model, what it looks like. They can call Lori Carr in Tony's office at 222-4600, extension 303, or they can call Tracy Walton, Transportation, 222-4600, extension 274. That way you don't have to wait. If you're on that line, if you will, on Scott, you want to know, give us a call, and we'll tell you right now what we think it looks like in this current model, knowing the model can change.
What was Tracy's extension again?
Tracy's 274.
274. Okay. Ms. Smith?
Just to clarify too, and to reiterate, 28 students are going to be able to stay where they are and be grandfathered for the 5th graders that would have normally have been affected if we had to alter
Yep.
this.
If they so choose, 20 at Community can stay and 8 at Ashton.
And if we were to alter any of these streets, that would impact the grandfathering.
It depends which street you do, but in a lot of cases, yes, if you take like part of Angel and that's something else, it does upset that. It's kind of like what I said, you have to kind of, if you want to give something back, you have to put something in the model. And a lot of it goes into like where the bus might run to pick up that whole neighborhood, that kind of thing.
So that was on the forefront, is the grandfathering.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Collins?
When it comes to grandfathering, if there's a scenario in which, I think I already know the answer, but if there's a scenario in which a 5th grader is grandfathered in, but they have a sibling at Community, would the sibling have to go to the redistrict school and the 5th grader allowed to stay? Would you have to split the family up?
If memory serves, we didn't split families when we did the Cumberland Hill model, so we would endeavor to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at it, but that was our model. We kept the families together.
So you're going to try to keep the families together, yeah?
I think
So.
we have to see, I guess we could look right now at the grandfathered students right now, those 28, we could see how many have siblings and hypothetically how many that impacts. But yes, we did keep them together at Cumberland Hill.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Fiorello?
I just want to point out that back in 2018, before the vote on the bond, we traveled around to all the different PTO meetings, and one of the talking points was that this would result in redistricting, maybe in stages. We were talking, if we had originally were going to do Ashton first, that we would immediately start redistricting then. So really, this shouldn't come to a surprise to most people. Also, I think it's just really imperative that we try to keep 5th graders grandfathered in and try not to split families, and just so that, that's important for kids to stay in their school.
I should add also, in terms of what would be next, fall of 27, in theory, BF Norton has built the new BF, and that adds 255 seats. So in that point, you could look at one more effort here to kind of finalize the map, at least for the next, 5-7 years minimum. But adding that number of seats could greatly help us as far as kind of balancing things out. That's fall of 27, so we have 3 years between now and then to kind of work with this.
Mrs. Vogel?
So the elementary schools are going to be redistricted. Does it any impact on the middle schools? Are they redistricted at all, or is that?
Right now, we have not looked at middle. This is just elementary right now. If you want us to look at that, we can, but right now, it's just been elementary.
And when you look at the maps in the schools where they would go, are you also looking at how long the bus rides would be?
Yeah, we do. Typically, the rides, we want them under an hour, and we look at just neighborhoods and, what's realistic for a bus run. We don't want any run to be too long. Now, I would say, as you want to, interact more with the map, we can show you the map. We showed 2 of our members where it shows you the locations where the students are. We can kind of brainstorm with you, should you have other ideas on what you want to move. We're happy to do that. We work out of Mike Chandler's office on the big screen.
I know not everybody likes to hear this, but so my kids now are 21 and 19, and they were redistricted. My son was redistricted going into 5th grade, and my daughter was redistricted going into 3rd grade. And I've asked them, hey, what was that like? What was the impact on you moving, from 4th grade to 5th grade, one school to the other? And actually, they both said, or my son especially, he said, well, when I got to the middle school, I actually knew more kids, because I knew kids from my first elementary school and my second elementary school, and that made it easier for me when I went into middle school. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting perspective, 10 years later. So I just offer that up.
So I would think we'd have this on the agenda for our next several meetings, and we just have it as a continual discussion as we go forward.
Yeah, I think it's important that we get as much information as we need, and we continue. I know we have Ms. Smith and Mrs. Feather working with you and Mike on this as well from the school committee, but I think it's important that we get as much information that we need so that we can move ahead with getting a decision made kind of as quickly as we can so that families can prepare. All right. Thank you, Dr. Thornton.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the reports of standing committees. Item A, Fiscal Management Subcommittee update. Mr. Collins?
Good evening, thank you. The Fiscal Management Subcommittee met this evening. We have payment of the bills, we got the Business Office Monthly Report, and we have 15 resolutions for your consideration later this evening, so thank you. Oh, and I just want to add for the record, Fiscal Management Subcommittee is not boring, so I
Encourage people to
these
attend.
people all hung around for Fiscal Management Subcommittee updates, so just kidding.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Item B, Policy and Procedure Subcommittee update. Mr. Fiorello?
Policy and Procedures had a very interesting meeting as well on Tuesday night. We discussed many policies, actually. We actually began the process of recategorizing a couple of policy categories, or policy categories, which we'll discuss later. We also discussed the new revision to the textbook loan program, again, by popular demand, the G6 personnel benefit policy. We have new policies on the prohibition of CFC and HCFC-based refrigerants, and also a new policy on approval of handbooks, which we will get into later.
The next item, item C, Achievement and Communications Subcommittee update. We did not meet this week. Mr. Devana's office has been busy with the RICAS results, which we're looking forward to seeing in January. All of the celebrations tonight, RICAS is also, I don't want to steal your thunder, but that's celebratory too. But we will meet in January. Item D, District Health and Wellness Subcommittee update. Mrs. Rogalski?
District Health and Wellness was canceled for this month. We will meet next month.
All right, thank you. Next item is public hearing related to our policies. Would you like to take this, Mr. Fiorillo?
Sure. I would just ask that the following policies, Education Agency Relations category, being renamed to Technology and Security, be read into the policy, as well as policies L1, which becomes K6, L2, which becomes K7. Those are L1, K6 is the textbook loan to students enrolled in non-public schools. L2, K7 is the federal Title I parental right involvement, plus the L2A, K7A, parents' right to know statement. Also, reading of amended policies, L1, K6, textbook loans to students enrolled in non-public schools. G6, personnel benefit policy for non-unit administrative and support personnel. Also, reading of new policies for the first reading, F4, prohibition of CFC and HCFC-based refrigerants, and B5, approval of handbooks. I would just ask that those all be read into the record.
Thank you, Mr. Fiorillo. Yes, Mr. Collins.
I'm actually looking at the calendar. We met up for achievement on November 20th, and we had an MLL update, and we haven't had a meeting since that. So I'm just thinking, yeah, no, I'm just thinking, I don't know if the community, we shared with the community all the great work that the MLL community is doing, so.
Go for it, Mr. Collins.
No, and I know.
Sorry about that.
Go back in my notes, but,
Yeah.
You know, one thing that one of the critical need areas for the district is obviously MLL, and it's part of a shortage personnel-wise, but the district is working very hard to get teachers to be MLL certified. Am I right in saying that? I don't remember it.
Yeah, I wasn't at that meeting, that's why I don't remember it. So, yeah,
So I
thank you.
apologize. So anyway, we met on the 20th of November, and what we found with the MLL population, I'm just going off the top of my head, it's not as fresh in my memory, and I don't want to, I don't have time to pull up the notes, but one of the, is that we have a critical need area, and the district is really concentrating on getting internal candidates to be MLL certified. And we've also added the community facilitator position, which is helping. So one of the big parts of RICAS, especially next month when we look at this, and I say this every year, we take students who have functional, sometimes very difficult time with the English language, we test them. So we are evaluated on students who are MLL and how well they do on these things. So we have, you know, not only just an obligation, a moral obligation, but we have a legal obligation to provide services for these students. So the district is working very hard to provide these services because our MLL population in town is absolutely exploding. So that was just the update that I'm sorry that I didn't bring it up earlier. So I just looking at the date, sorry.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Collins. The next item on the agenda is comments from the public. If anyone from the public would like to speak, come on up to the microphone. No, it's actually not listed that way. So, yeah, this is fine. Are you coming up, President Kinch? Yay.
Hi, good evening. I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to first of all wish you Happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas coming up in case I don't see you at the last minute. And I want to thank you so much for the cooperation that the school committee and the town council has shown during this last year. So again, I thank you very much. The other thing is, where do you begin to congratulate the great students we have? It's meeting after meeting, we see the same thing. So I do want to congratulate the music, the chorus, the athletes. You follow them all, but to see them in one room was truly amazing. So I want to congratulate them. And last but not least, I do want to congratulate the employees that did retire on behalf of the town council, Ms. Martins and Mr. Audette. So I want to thank those two for the service they gave the town of Cumberland on behalf of the town council. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Dr. Thornton.
I have one correction. Our phone number, I've been calling RIDE quite a bit lately. RIDE's number is 222. So that was in my brain, so.
So
658.
don't call the number that you,
I've called RIDE a lot lately.
well, you could.
658, 1600.
658.
The extensions are correct, but I've called RIDE quite a bit. Sorry. Apologies.
658, 1600.
Extensions are
I
correct.
know. I thought you got new phone numbers too. 658, 1600. Good. All right, thank you. We're all over the place tonight. Let's see. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item A, discussion and a vote to approve overnight student field trip. Oh, there we go. CHS Choral Festival at Hershey Park, April 2024, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
So we have been invited to participate in this festival, which we tried to do last year, but we didn't raise enough funds, so we've paused it and continued our fundraising efforts. And we've raised a good amount more towards this endeavor this year. And with a few months left, we believe we're going to be able to raise that final bit to get our students to our competition this year.
Okay, any questions, comments? Ms. Smith?
Is it coming for us for a vote? Like, do we have anything written like we do with the sports?
In your packet, you have a write-up.
See it. I do apologize. I just wasn't aware that we had something to view and to confirm information.
Dr. Thornton, can I ask that when additional information is put into our drive on the day of a meeting that we get email notification, please?
Absolutely.
All right. Any questions or comments from the committee?
Mrs. Santo, I'm assuming that you're in compliance with our policy, with number of chaperones, the costs, the transportation, as you always are. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Fiorello made a motion to approve. Second by Mrs. Rogalski. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That passes 6-0. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you for your time.
The next item on the agenda is item B, vote on resignation and separation agreement with CTA employee, including discussion if requested by CTA employee. Discussion was not requested, so I need a motion.
I'd like to vote to approve the resignation and separation agreement as discussed in executive session.
Mrs. Rogalski makes a motion to approve the resignation and separation agreement. Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Vogel. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Item C, discussion of school bond financials related to Ashton and Community Elementary Schools Phase 2 will be tabled till January. So we'll move on to item D, discussion and or vote to approve the 2024 Cumberland School Committee meeting schedule.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Collins makes a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Vogel. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Item E, discussion and or vote to approve renaming of policy category L, Education Agency Relations to Technology and Security. Is that right, Mr. Fiorello?
Sure. I just want to, I'll make a motion to approve this change. Essentially, what we are doing is we are removing the Education Agency Relations category, renaming it Technology and Security. There is a lot of policy concerning technology and security, and there's a lot of crossover between the two. So this is just the first step that I'm taking before we start moving policies in, which would probably, hopefully, take place in January. We also have some new policies coming in for security. So I would just ask that, I don't know, thank you, motion to approve the renaming of the category.
Okay, Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to approve the renaming of the policy category, second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Okay, next item, discussion and a vote to approve recoding of policies.
Yes.
So that was a renaming. Now this is a recoding.
Right. We renamed the category, which also required us to move those policies out of that category. So L1 will become K6, the textbook loans to students enrolled in non-public schools, and also L2, which is the K7 federal Title I parental involvement, plus the L2 sub A, K7A, the parents' right to know statement. Those will all be moved into the community relations category, which I think they're a little more fitting over there. So I would just make a motion to approve that.
Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to approve the recoding of policies. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Collins. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Item G, discussion and a vote to approve amended policies. Mr. Fiorello.
First is the G6 personnel benefit policy for non-unit administrative and support personnel. We have added the community facilitator position, which we have discussed in the past. The main difference, though, in this policy is the additional language for the Pumping Act for nursing mothers. We have already reached agreements with both of our unions, and this is the final step in ensuring all of our employees get this benefit. We will have to look at another policy, G21, for the other employees, the at-will employees, really, to see if any of that needs to be done. But that'll come up in probably January. So I will make a motion to approve the revised G6.
Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to approve amended policy G6. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0.
Next is the new K-6, well, hopefully the new K-6, textbook loans to students enrolled in non-public schools. This policy, if you've read it, had I would say, a massive rewrite. Mr. Adams, our attorney, had pointed out that we were going far above and beyond the law or what RIDE intended for the law to provide. Used to be that we would just, parents with students in private schools would give us their book list, and we would buy those books and provide them to them free of charge. That is not what the law intended. That is not what RIDE expects. So we have changed our policy to be more in line with what other districts are doing and what the law and RIDE expects from us. From now on, we will only be providing books that we currently are using in the high school, and any parent can request a book if their child's school is using that book, and this also applies to homeschool students as well. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I am making a motion to approve the new policy.
Mr. Fiorillo makes a motion to approve amended policy K6. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Next item, H, discussion and/or vote to approve the first reading of new policies. Mr. Fiorillo.
First is F4, the prohibition of CFC and HCFC-based refrigerants. This is a policy that we are required to have as part of our building renovation work. It is a very straightforward policy. The CFC, the chlorofluorocarbons, and the hydrochlorofluorocarbons is essentially the old refrigerants that we know are damaging the atmosphere. We have also, so we're going to phase out the use of them in 5 years, but we will no longer be buying any equipment that requires them, which I'm not sure if there is any being sold at this point anyways from dealers that we would be dealing with. We did do a review of all the refrigeration, air conditioning equipment in the district, and what we have found is that it's not really an issue for us. Most of it's been turned over the last few years. I don't believe we found any refrigeration equipment in our kitchens that have any of the HFCs or CFCs. Just a nod or shake. Okay, we're still looking into it, that's fine. But I do know that we have replaced most of it over the years anyways. And we don't really have a lot of air conditioning units that would have any of that. So I think we're in very good shape on this. I don't expect it to really cost us any money out of what we would be spending already to begin with. So I would just make a motion to approve.
Mr. Fiorillo makes a motion to approve the first reading of the new policy F4, prohibition of CFC and HCFC-based refrigerants. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Collins. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. Fiorillo.
Next, B5, approval of handbooks. We used to never approve the handbooks, and then we started doing it a few years ago. And then during COVID, it suddenly occurred to me that we were approving the handbooks, but we had no purview to approve the handbooks. So, speaking with Mr. Adams, he agreed that we should. And so I wrote the policy. Mr. Adams, of course, double-checked everything, add some Latin mumbo-jumbo, and we have the policy that is before us, and I would make a motion to approve the first reading.
Mr. Fiorillo makes a motion to approve the first reading of the new policy B5, approval of handbooks, Latin mumbo jumbo and all. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Rogalski. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Mr. Fiorillo, item I, discussion or vote to approve revised Cumberland Student Athlete Parent Handbook. Actually, that's not you.
That is very, well, actually, it is.
Well.
It's very timely because now we can approve a handbook. Mr. Crowley came to our meeting, explained his thinking. We were all in agreement, and I'm hoping that have you heard back from the health department? Thank you.
Yes, I did. I did speak with our Department of Health, and they put it back on the districts, whatever the district policy is. So as amended in the handbook, 13 months, we'll start with that, which is a feasible jump from 12 months to 13 months for current physicals, to allow families that extra month to get a doctor's appointment and less scrambling and make it easier on our families coming into our athletic seasons. A lot of other districts are the same thing as well, where some go out as far as 15 months and a lot of other ones are 13
I'm sorry,
months.
Mr. Crowley, I thought we went to 15.
You want to, you can, whatever you want to go to.
Let me just check.
I think I put it in as 13. We had talked about 15 at the meeting the other night.
Yeah, we went to 15,
15 it is then, sold.
so.
Other districts are 15. Again, it just gives, it's more a benefit for our families for that extra 3 months of scheduling appointments and HMOs and having not to pay prior to an inordinate fee or going down the street or something to pay for that as well. 15 months. I also, hold on, excuse me. I'd be remiss, I wouldn't congratulate Mr. Adams and his son, who is a state champion for Barrington High School football. They defeated Cumberland, and congratulations to Mr.
We don't
Adams.
talk about that, Mr.
Yeah,
Crowley.
yeah, you know, give a man his due. Which one? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Crowley.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley, and thank you for taking part in policy this week. I would make a motion to approve the student-athlete parent handbook.
Okay, Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to approve the revised Cumberland Student Athlete Parent Handbook. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Fiorello. This is a big night for you. Next item, item J, discussion and a vote to approve homeschool instruction request for the 2023-2024 school year. Motion to approve by Mr. Rogalski, second by Mrs. Vogel. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Okay, Mr. Collins, over to you. Discussion or a vote
Yes,
to
ma'am.
approve resolutions.
All right, we have 15 resolutions for the full committee this evening. SCPI-10-2023-184 through number 198. All 15 resolutions passed Fiscal Management Subcommittee 3-0, and I would move passage to the full committee.
Collins makes a motion to approve resolutions SCPR 12-2023-184. Mr. Collins makes a motion to approve resolutions SCPR 12-2023-184 through 198. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Vogel and Mr. Fiorello. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Next, discussion and a vote to approve payment of bills. Mr. Collins.
Yes, we have payment of the bills. It must be the end of the year. $2,840,551.22. Payment of the bills also passed Fiscal Management Subcommittee 3-0, and I would move passage to the full committee.
Mr. Collins makes a motion to approve payment of bills. Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Vogel. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Okay, and next item on the agenda, school committee comments, school liaison reports. Any comments from the school committee? Mr. Fior.
I was remiss when I gave my policy update. We did also discuss the use of school facilities policy. We did not take any action on it. What we've been discussing ever since the Cumberland Clippers came a few months ago about the rates that they were paying, and then we had the CYSA also asking about the rates that they're paying. I've been doing a lot of research over the last couple of months about what the town does, what other districts do, and really trying to balance being a good community neighbor with these organizations that serve our children, but also making sure that we are raising funds to maintain these spaces. So I'm hoping that I'm promising that this policy will be on for review and a vote at the first meeting in January. The CYSA, the Clippers should see probably about a 50% drop in their charges. So, and the rent money that we get from these groups is very small, in a small portion of our rental income. Most of our rental income comes from like Alphabest and the pool lease, which will not be affected by use of school facilities. So that'll be something to look forward to in January.
I do look forward to that. Other comments from the school committee? Mrs. Rogalski.
Just a few. First, very happy holidays to everyone. I hope that all of our teachers and staff and administrators have a very well-earned rest and relaxing break. Second, I wanted to say I went to the chorus and dance concert last night. Beautiful job by Ms. McFarland and her dance students, and of course, Ms. Santo and her chorus and clef singers. There was one song, though, I wanted to highlight. There was one song that the clef singers do, and they have actually a clarinet and an oboe accompany them, and it was wonderful. And it was absolutely beautiful. Next, some of you in the middle schools, your sons in 7th and 8th grade, a lot of principals, the principals are sending out information about this. We have Project Strong going for the second year in our middle schools. It is a web-based research study for 7th and 8th grade boys. It's designed to help teens develop healthy habits such as building healthy relationship skills, reducing risky decisions. It is run by staff from Rhode Island Hospital, not by the school. But if you are interested in that, they are looking for kids to set up. This is something that they came to Health and Wellness for last year, and we presented it to you. It's a really great study that they're doing to hopefully work with teenage boys and find out some things that work into the high school and beyond years. So if you are interested in that, you can contact your principal, or I know that Ms. Storm sent out a link for you to sign up for that. And last, I know that tomorrow is a big day in many houses around, including my own. Some early decision and early action college decisions are coming out. So for all of our families with seniors who have some college decisions arriving any day now, good luck to all of you.
Other comments from the school committee? Yeah, happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy some time off. Next item on the agenda is vote to go into executive session. We do not have executive session tonight, so I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mrs. Rogalski, second by Mrs. Vogel. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. We're adjourned at 8:32 p.m.